And as we continue the trend of the Chinese New Year and the celebrations, um, it's a custom with the Chinese on that day to have as much food on the table as possible and a variety of foods. Certain foods depict certain things, certain prosperity, longevity, different things. You can always look that up on the internet. But they must have pork, chicken, and fish. Pork, chicken, and fish. Those are the main dishes that they will have on their table. Apart from the greens and the whole big spread of the other stuff, the buns. Like I'm going to do some bao buns. The bao buns, it's that lily white bun that you can stuff with various things and you can fill it with various things. I'm going to do the plain bao buns, show you how to do that. And then you can use that with a pork filling or with a pork belly filling. Fish, you can eat it with chicken, you can eat it with anything. But it's a nice fluffy bun that's steamed. It's not fried or anything. It's steamed, and this is the flour that I'm going to be using. There's a bao bun flour. If you do not have this in your area, you can get it online, or you can use the bleached all-purpose flour, because you have to bear in mind that these buns are like lily white. You want them to be lily white to get that effect. So it's a bleached flour. So if you cannot find the bao bun flour in your area, you can get it online, or you can use the bleached all-purpose flour. No problem. So let's go to those ingredients for the bao buns. And I bow to you. So, so for our wet ingredients, as I mentioned before, 1/3 cup of water, 1/3 cup of water here, warm water, has to be between 94 and 100, and a half a cup of milk, and and we also need some canola or avocado oil, 2 tablespoons. I'm using avocado oil. I'll just drop 2 tablespoons into the milk, because we are just combining our wet ingredients here, because we're going to proof the yeast. And that's the milk. Add the water. Now for the yeast, we'll add the yeast, 1 tablespoon of yeast, 1 tablespoon of yeast, and 2 tablespoons of sugar. This is I have 4 tablespoons in here, so I'm going to just use half of that. Okay, and we're going to give this a stir and wait for our yeast. Give it about 5 to 7 minutes and wait for the yeast to bloom. Just give it a stir. Melt that sugar. The yeast loves the sugar. So, and the water is nice and warm. The liquid is nice and warm. So within about 7 minutes, we should get a blooming yeast. Okay. Whilst we're waiting on the yeast to bloom, in the bowl of the stand mixer, let me see, make sure you can see in here. In the bowl of the stand mixer, we're going to mix our dry ingredients. The dry ingredients includes 2.5 cups of flour. 2.5 cups of flour I would dump in there. Half a teaspoon of baking powder. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. The rest of the sugar. And that's it. And I'm going to use We just need to make sure that everything is, you know, equally distributed. So I use a whisk, just whisk it around. Well, now we're going to go to we're going to put this onto the stand mixer and await our yeast. Yeast is already starting to perform over there. Oh yeah, look, it's already starting to bubble up. So in about 5 minutes, maybe less, we should get some blooming yeast. Okay, so let's move over to the stand mixer. So as you can see, the yeast is blooming beautifully. It's bloomed, and so I just now combined this with the flour mixed with the dry ingredients. So that's all in, the dry ingredients and the wet ingredients are together. And let's attach the dough hook, and we'll start with this on a slow speed so that it can take its time and incorporate everything, and then we'll lift the speed a little. So once it starts to move away from the sides of the mixing bowl, you know it's ready. So we'll take this out and put it on a working surface, and we'll just make it into a ball, and then we let it rest for 2 minutes, for 2 hours, 2 hours. Here we go. So after 2 hours, the bao buns have risen and doubled in size. So now we're going to just flatten it, and we're going to make a ball, and we're going to roll this out again, and then we'll make our buns shape. So let's go to a working surface. Here we are. You just have to roll it around and just let it be smooth again. And I have my steamer here. It's an electric steamer. So I'm gonna put my buns in the basket, and we're gonna let them sit for another 20-30 minutes before we start steaming them. So let's get a roll on here. So we'll try to roll this out into a disc, and then we'll use a biscuit cutter or a cookie cutter to cut them out. At about a 1/4 inch thick, or just a 1/4 inch thickness. Okay, I think I'm right where we're supposed to be. So we start cutting. So here we are. This is a 3.5-inch biscuit cutter. So I think this should be good enough. You could either use a 3-inch maybe. I'll see if the, no, these look like the perfect size. Because we're going to be folding them over, remember? Then we'll redo this for another batch. Once we're done taking care of the first batch, so we'll just put this into a ball again, because we're going to roll this out again and make and cut and do another set of cutting. So we'll just keep this in the bowl. Okay, so here we are. Try to keep them a little round, as round as possible. But what I'll do now, I'll spray a little bit of oil on the top, because when I fold them over, I don't want them sticking together. So I spray a little oil and just brush that around on top. Then I fold it over. And you roll lightly, just lightly roll it. Just lightly roll it. Just to spread it out a little. Very lightly. Give it a roll. Just to spread it out a little. Fold it over, give it a roll, just roll it here a little bit. Just to bring it to shape. Then we just let those sit for about 30 minutes once they're done. Once you're finished rolling them out. So I have two steamers working. I have a small steamer here, which is just held 4 of them. And so I'm going to have that, and then this one I'm waiting for this for my electric steamer to come to a boil. Then I'll place the tray. I'll place the tray back in there. So yeah, I'll be back. You may notice I've put some paper towels. I've a sheet of paper towel under the cover because I don't want the water, once it steams and the water comes up to the top, it falls back onto the buns and that might make it soggy. So that's a little tip. So just either a tea towel or wrap the top of your steamer in a tea towel, or just put some paper towels under the cover just to grab that water that's going to accumulate, the condensation, because you don't want that falling back onto the buns and onto the bao buns and to make them soggy. So that's a little tip. So here we are, steamed bao buns, and we're gonna break into one of them right now. Oh my goodness, it's so fluffy and soft. Oh yeah, wow. And you see it, you can open it and you can put any filling in there. You can do a pork filling, you can do pork belly, a pork belly filling, chicken, veggies. Cheers. And a happy Chinese New Year. Happy Lunar New Year. The year of the rabbit. These are soft and fantastic. Oh my goodness. If you've never tried this, you have to do this. And do it at home. It's perfect. It's even better than when you go out to get it. Awesome. Once again, guys, like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next clip. We are coming.